let's dive into the Seattle Mariners. I think you and I touched on them. We definitely touched on them last year. We liked the direction that they were heading, and we loved the over. I know that I had it in the bet tracker. I think it was 82.5, 83.5. Them and the Halos are right there. They won 90 games last year, 90-72, made the playoffs. And this year they have a 90.5 win total. You saw on the other board 87.5. So, I mean, shop around. There's some different numbers out there. They are plus 350 to win the AL West. I think that they're a 90 win team. Again, I don't know if I'd lean to the over 90.5, but I could find 87.5. I'd get behind that one. Plus 850 AL pennant and 18-1 to win the World Series. Let's transition over to some of their weapons here. And Julio Rodriguez, Rookie of the Year last year in the AL, outfielder 3. On average, he's the 4th player taken in drafts. But as we've touched on over the past couple weeks, seen as many as 7 different guys go first overall over at NFBC over the last 2 months. Rodriguez is one of those guys, a 5-tool player that bursted onto the scene last year, 28 bombs, 25 stolen bases, hit 284, cashed in with 84 runs and 75 RBI. And I think that he's going to top a lot of those numbers because he did that in 132 games. He missed some time, 560 plate appearances. And the pitching is, to me, the strength of this team. Luis Castillo, pitcher number 17, off the board on average. And then look at the guys in the row, kind of. Robbie Ray, 28. George Kirby, 29. Logan Gilbert, 32. And then, of course, they brought in Teoscar Hernandez. Let's just touch on the pitching. And you kind of touched on Castillo already. But if you were like Ray, Kirby, and Gilbert, what do you make of those 3 guys? Is there one you like a little bit more as a pitcher? And not a bad 2, 3, and 4 to have in your rotation.
Yeah, I probably, would go with, I guess, Kirby out of that group of the guys I love more. We'll see what kind of volume he gets in terms of innings pitched this year. But his stuff is just electric. And then to have Logan Gilbert and Ray as your 3 and 4, or even your 2 and 3, pretty incredible to show that what kind of depth is in that rotation. And Seawald at the back end with Munoz for both, man. They're just nasty stuff. Their bullpen is stacked as well. And I totally agree with you. I would play the over 87.5, and that's actually something I'm probably going to look into once we get off here. I'd probably stay away at the regular season win total of 90.5, I think is what we saw. But that 87.5, it should be good, especially, same is true for the Astros. It's not a huge difference, but the AL West teams will have a little bit of an easier schedule getting to play some more of those Central teams this year.
Hell yeah. It's good for everybody. You see the 87.5. Yeah, I'm looking at our prop shop right now. FanDuel's hanging 86.5 at minus 120. It's a little bit of a richer price, but you can get the 86.5. BetMGM DraftKings has 87.5, and Bet Rivers, has 88.5 at plus money. But I like the 86.5. As I said, I think they're a 90-win team. Man, that pitching is fantastic. I would say that Sewell's probably the closer, and Munoz, I think he's got nastier stuff. I think he's probably better suited for high leverage situations, but they'll probably go back and forth between the two throughout the season.
No, for sure. And man, I really don't like having so many futures. I usually play one a year pretty much, but now I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to lock in that 86.5. Well, I'm also getting ready for spring training tomorrow. I'll have the pitchers reports posted daily. So that's a whole nother project to get going.
What do you make of this lineup, though? Let me bring up that board one more time, Quan, and I'm going to just share off the projected roster resource from Fangraphs. Rodriguez up at the top, Ty France in the 2 spot, Eugenio Suarez, who does have a lot of power, but he's like a 210, 220 hitter, I think, at best at this point of his career. Bringing in Teoscar Hernandez is definitely a big boost, right, to their lineup, potentially the cleanup guy there. Projections have him for 30 bombs. I forgot they brought in Colton Wong and AJ Pollock, but a couple veteran bats, I think, at this point of their career as well. JP Crawford in there. What do you make of their lineup, though? Because it doesn't seem like they have the pitching. I think that's the strength, but I even think the Halos and not so much Texas, but definitely the Astros, better lineups here. Do you think they have enough firepower offensively to really make some noise?
Well, the lineup is, what did we say? They won 87 or 88 last year, and I do think the lineup is clearly better than it was last season. Kyle Riley had a little bit of a breakout last year, and, Colton Wong and Pollock are 2 guys that you can really stick in there. Great platoons, Pollock versus lefties, Wong's versus righties, I'm pretty sure. So it adds a bunch of depth, and you look at their bench, it's not that bad either with Tom Murphy, La Stella, Dylan Moore. I mean, again, these are guys that they're probably going to platoon at a couple positions. And I mean, it's certainly, not Houston level good. Nobody really is, but it's certainly improved from last season.
Yeah, there's no question it has improved. I think Teoscar is a really good target. Rodriguez obviously is a really good target. Castillo is a guy that I want my hands on. Out of Ray, Kirby, and Gilbert, I don't think you could go wrong. I think, Robbie Ray has more potential to kind of blow up your ratios from time to time. He still gives up a lot of power. He does still struggle with command and walks, but I mean, Kirby last year, 9K per nine, 1.52 walks per nine. That was just in 130 innings, but he had a 3.39 ERA and a 3.33 xFIP. So the numbers were really good from him across the board. And then Logan Gilbert, just shy of 9K per nine, but another guy, the command seems fine at 2.38 walks per nine. It wasn't a guy that really walked a lot of dudes in the minor leagues either. That was over 185 innings, so a little bit more work from him last year than opposed to Kirby. But the ratios were solid too. I mean, 3.20 ERA and a 3.78 xFIP. Doesn't have a great ground ball rate, kind of a extremely high fly ball rate, but it's good to have that, I suppose, inside that ballpark won't hurt you there. But I don't think there's a player on this board that I would shy away from in drafts. All those pitchers I think are fine. Can you rank them? Rank the Seattle pitchers for me.
Fantasy or like real life?
Just real life, rank them.
I mean, yeah, I would go Castillo. I'm having a tough time deciding between Gilbert or Kirby at 2, but I'd probably go Kirby, Gilbert, Ray, and then, I mean, I guess you got to go Marco Gonzalez, who, is not very good, but he'll pitch 180, 200 innings for him, and it's exactly what you need out of that fit spot in the rotation.
I know he's not a great real life, I think he's a better real life pitcher than he is a fantasy. Like, he's not a fantasy guy that we're ever going to attack from a strikeout standpoint for props. I usually attack him from 4 or 5.5 hits allowed. If I can ever find that, a team that hits lefties pretty well, I'd go that way. But as your 5th guy, you're right. He's going to give you a lot of innings. I'll rank him that way too. I think, for me, I'm looking at my rankings. I got Castillo. Gilbert, and then Kirby. But that's not a lot of disrespect at Robbie Ray, because he's probably going to get 180 strikeouts. He's probably going to have more strikeouts than the other besides Castillo. For
sure. And he's definitely will get some hard contact off him. But again, having that guy as your 4th in real life is incredible. Even if he's about league average or a little bit better, like that's great to have that there.
It is. All right, Seattle. I think it's a good bet. If you're looking for a long shot to maybe win this division or, close the gap on the Astros, as we mentioned, 90 wins, take the over 86.5 or the over 87.5, whatever number you guys can get using your books. But Prop Shop is your friend, and they are minus 158 to make the playoffs. I don't think that's a great bet, but just goes to show that, Vegas has given them a lot of respect, and you can find 9-1 to win the AL pennant. They do have the pitching to kind of get it done in that bullpen, which is very, very key, of course, in the postseason.